All right, Shalom. I want to give all the praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth, and double salutations to all you Akim out there laboring, the house of David, the elect, that's pushing this word with all truth, righteousness, and sincerity. Shalom to you, brothers, and shalom to the elect. I'm back with another quick lesson through the Holy Spirit, the Rakakwadash. And this article here is from the New York Times. The headline, it reads, it says, under Cked, chaos prevails at the Pentagon. It says the defense secretary inner circle is in disarray and distrust is growing among civil servants and senior military officials. All right. So according to the book of Isaiah, chapter 47 and verse 1, the Lord said that he was going to cause Babylon, America, to sit in the dust. Okay. The Lord is causing more confusion and in-house fighting amongst the Pentagon. This is supposed to be America's military leadership. All right. So they're all divided. Okay. They're turning on each other. They're exposing secrets. Things are being leaked out. All right. They're falling apart. You know, so jumping down straight to the point here. In the read here, it says, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth arrived at the Pentagon in January with almost no government experience and huge ambitions to remake the way the military was being run. In just 3 months in office, Mr. Hegseth, a former Fox News host, has instead produced a run of chaos that is unmatched in the recent history of the Defense Department. All right, so there's a meltdown going on in the Pentagon. It says Mr. Hegseth's inner circle of close advisors, military veterans who, like him, had little experience running large, complex organizations, is in shambles. You see? All right, they can't agree upon anything. All right, all these secrets are being exposed. Remember, I did the lesson going into that very topic. All right. CIA insiders threaten to leak secrets if Trump fires them, exposing deep state loyalties. Right. So everything about Babylon is being exposed. All right. Sensitive information is being leaked to their adversaries. All right. So this all ties into the fall. All right. This place is going down. All right. Let's go back to the read. So it says, is in shambles. 3 members of the team he brought with him into the Pentagon were accused last week of leaking unauthorized information and escorted from the building. See? Reading on here, it says, let's jump down. It says, the discord, according to current and former defense officials, includes screaming matches in his inner office among aides, a growing distrust of the thousands of military and civilian personnel who staff the building. It says, in bureaucratic logjams that have slowed down progress on some of President Trump's key priorities, such as an, quote, Iron Dome for America missile defense shield, the official spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss internal business. All right. It says, adding to the dysfunction, right? Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency has set a loose target of slashing as many 200,000 jobs from the Pentagon's civilian workforce of 750,000, a level of cuts Mr. Hegseth has warned would cripple some critical functions within the department. Within the department, it says 3 current and former defense officials said, man, these devils are all over the place, man. This is the book of Mark 3 and 23. It says, and he called them unto him and said unto them in parables, how can Satan cast out Satan? Verse 24, and if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And that's what's going on amongst the Pentagon. All right. Exposing secrets. Intel is being leaked. All right. They're all divided. They can't agree upon nothing. All right. That's a sign of the fall that's coming. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand but have an end. You see that? So this is really the Lord, again, that's plaguing these devils, all right? They're being ensnared by the work of their own hands. All right, this is Psalms 9 in verse 15. It says, the heathen are sunk down in the pit that they made. In the net which they hid is their own foot taken. See? The Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, is known by the judgment which he executeth. It says, the wicked is snared. The wicked is snared in the work of his own hands, right? So we're in a time where, these devil's plans are being leaked, all right? It's being leaked to foreign intel, all right? Basically the Lord is throwing a wrench in all their plans. This is why they're divided. This is why they can't agree. This is why they're turning on each other. All right, again, the wicked is snared in the work of his own hands. This is all the product of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. This is the spirit. All right, because as they try to transition into this new system, all right, they're catching hell. All right, let's play this video real quick. All right. Total meltdown in Trump, Pentagon, Pete Hegseth in danger.
We learned this weekend what happens when you choose your Secretary of Defense by watching Fox and Friends. It's not good. A complete meltdown is happening inside the Pentagon under Donald Trump's Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth. And I don't mean policy disagreements here. I mean full-on chaos, leaks, purges, classified information floating around Signal group chats. Yes, another Signal group chat. And Elon Musk in the mix of it all. And mass quitting is now taking place. You're not having a stroke. This is real life in the Department of Defense under Donald Trump's second term secretary.
Real quick, hey, the beginning of the Egyptians versus the Egyptians, all right, is happening. Isaiah 19 and verse 3. Isaiah 19 and 2, it says, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians. All right, this is the in-house fighting, the divide within the government. All right, it says, I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. All right, this is happening.
Of defense. So here's what's going on. First, Hegseth, who was barely confirmed after getting grilled over allegations of sexual assault and showing up to work smelling of alcohol, he has now lost 4 top aides in a single day. One of them, his own chief of staff, Joe Casper. The other 3 were fired under suspicion of leaking classified information, even though they were reportedly about to be cleared. Now they've been fired. What's really going on, as usual, we don't know. To make it worse, Hegseth's team tried anonymously smearing them in the press. This is like middle school drama with the nuclear codes, which is very risky stuff. These were not small leaks. They were referring to military strike plans, carrier movements, American intelligence operations, briefings on China. And by the way, the briefings on China almost delivered to Elon Musk, who still has massive business interests in China. And it gets even more absurd. Pete Hegseth, the guy who apparently thinks Signal is like a secure filing cabinet of some kind, he shared Yemen's strike plans in a group chat that included his wife and his brother. We will get to that in a little bit.
Yeah, this place is cooked. That's why, let me go back to that. I had it pulled up here. Scriptures say that the counselors to Pharaoh are foolish, right? Isaiah 19 and 11, it says, surely the princes of Zoan are fools. The counsel of the wise counselors of Pharaoh has become brutish. How say ye unto Pharaoh, I am the son of the wise, the son of ancient kings. So the people that are aligned with these with Pharaoh, all right, which would be basically, your president or whatnot. All right, they're retarded, man. All right, it's all types of mess going on in the Pentagon, the White House. All right, it's the NLT. It says, what fools are the officials of Zoan? Their best counsel to the king of Egypt is stupid and wrong. Will they still boast to Pharaoh of their wisdom? Will they dare brag about all their wise ancestors? Right. So everything about this place is stupid, man. All right. And the Lord has put that spirit of confusion again upon the leadership. All right. Because like I said in Isaiah 14, we'll get that in a second, about how the worms are going to cover this place, which ties back to the corruption that's going on. right?
So now classified or supposed to be classified military operations texted to journalists, as we know from the Signalgate fiasco #1, Jeffrey Goldberg from The Atlantic, and then also family members over a group chat like it's a weekend barbecue plan. Who's bringing the who's bringing the zucchini? His response is a nobody was texting war plans denial, where we start to wonder what is the definition of war plans itself. So we got the chat log from Jeffrey Goldberg. There were indeed war plans there with timelines and everything. And then we now have a second signal chat we're dealing with, which we will talk about in a moment.
Yeah. No wisdom, no type of discretion, man. The Lord is allowing this place to be aired out. All right. So again, Babylon is totally cooked, man.
So right now, Pentagon insiders are saying what every single one of us is thinking and predicted for a long time, which is these are not competent people. There's a complete meltdown happening here.
Yeah, we just read that these are not competent people. The counselors next to Pharaoh are foolish. They're stupid, right?
They simply are not able to do this job. The kicker is that this comes after Hegseth brought his Fox News producer wife into 2 foreign military meetings where classified information was discussed. Why? We just don't know. And now Donald Trump's inner circle is starting to put the pressure on to dump and flush Pete Hegseth, just like he did with Mark Esper, James Mattis, Rex Tillerson, and all of these great patriots who were only patriotic up until the day at which they were unceremoniously axed, and Trump's claim to be the best at hiring people went away. Now, Hegseth is incompetent, but the problem really is not only Pete Hegseth. This is what you get when you let a guy govern by cable news vibes. This is the logical endpoint of a president choosing cabinet officials based on whether they appear loyal on TV and suck up to Trump while sitting on that curved couch on Fox and Friends. Trump wanted loyalty and a TV presence. I guess he got it, but he also got with it a Pentagon that leaks like a sieve, a defense secretary under Inspector General investigation, and military operations texted to civilians, including the Secretary of Defense's own wife. So
yeah, it's all types of corruption going on. All right, double agents, spies. As we're listening to the Pentagon is in complete shambles right now, man. All right, Trump is losing his mind. Nations are turning on America. These tariffs, the sanctions, all of that, man. Right. Isaiah 14:10, it says, all they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? All right, because we're seeing, hey, this ties into Babylon losing its strength, its power. All right, the decay is happening from within the inside of this place, right? Isaiah 14:11, thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vows, the worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. Right? I just want to bring this out again. All right. That word for worms, ramah. The point, it says maggot worm as cause and sign of decay. Right? It says, excuse me. Cause and sign of decay, all indicate corruption. All right, that's what's going on amongst the leadership of America, man. It's all types of dysfunction, corruption. All right, exposure. I'm pretty sure the Trump got a double agents among him. There's all types of stuff getting leaked. All right, this place is finished. All right, because at the end of the day, like I said, I'm gonna grab this real quick. All right. Oh, and before I grab that. All right, reminder, hey, this war is going to happen as we've been talking about. Israel willing to ignore President Trump and launch attack against Iran nuke sites. So this thing is still going to happen regardless of what they're putting in the media. All right, the least of the flock shall draw them out as prophecy stated. All right, who can turn back the hand of the Lord? So the point again, we know that we're close to something happening soon. All right. This article here is from the New York Times. The point here says global economic leaders gathering in U.S. confront Trump's new world order. See? The IMF and the World Bank are holding their spring meetings as President Trump's trade war upends the global economy. All right. They're purposely crashing this current system to bring in the new one. All right. These devils are pressed for time. Again, let's read some more here. It says, let's go down to the point here. It says recent debates over industrial policy and whether the world economy could achieve a soft landing have been replaced by anxiety over President Trump's trade war, revived inflation fears, and new worries about the prospect of a global recession. The multilateral institutions that are hosting the meetings and receive funding from the United States are also under increasing pressure to prove their relevance to the Trump administration while avoiding confrontations that could compel Mr. Trump to withdraw from them entirely. The point, it says, quote, the post-World War II rules-based system of global governance, which the United States played a key role in fashioning, is crumbling before our eyes. See? Said Eswar Prasad, a former China director of the IMF. It says the Trump administration has left little doubt about its distaste for practically every multilateral institution, including the IMF, the World Bank, because it views these institutions, recommendations, and policies as not always perfectly aligned with the narrowly defined American interest, right? And the rest reads on.
This is what the America First strong administration looks like. Of course, this is what I would expect from, a Reddit moderator with a Napoleon complex, not the American Secretary of Defense, but that's where we are. And the most dangerous part is that they continue to pretend that this is completely normal. If you're wondering why the Pentagon seems more like a failed reality show than a military institution right now, it's not an accident. This is the cost of turning Fox News costume parties into policymakers. And the rest of us, the civilians, and I'm including the service members in this as well, the whole world, we foot the bill. We end up terrified and humiliated. And then why is Pete Hegseth's wife getting plans texted to her? Let's try to figure that out next.
Yeah, so that's the point, man. All right. This place is the laughing stock of the world. All right. Internal in-house fighting. All right. Allies turning on each other. All right. This is the end of Babylon. Shalom to the next one. Shalom.